Good morning, Prashant, and good morning to everybody, and a happy St. Patrick's Day. A quick overview for everybody of where Irish tourism and Irish hospitality was at the end of 2019. That is to say, the pre-COVID period. So in 2019, Irish tourism and hospitality was in a very good place. There were 11 million tourists visited Ireland in 2019. This resulted in 7 billion in revenue terms for the Irish Exchequer. Some 300,000 people were employed in hospitality in Ireland in 2019, which accounts for approximately 10% of the workforce. In addition to that, in 2019, tourism grew by some 5% on 2018 levels. So a very positive place for Irish tourism. Obviously, COVID hit in early 2020, and the Irish government have been very supportive to business, and in particular, hospitality businesses, with such measures as the COVID restriction support scheme, the temporary wage support scheme, the warehousing of tax liabilities, and also a commercial rates holiday. The Irish government have certainly played their part. However, there has been, as one would expect, a very severe impact on Irish hospitality and Irish tourism. And really, any hospitality business, or in particular a hotel, which did not enter into the COVID period with a strong balance sheet, is really in a very difficult position at the moment. And they're really facing a perfect storm. On two fronts. Firstly, they're cash strapped, and they've used up a lot of their cash reserves. But also, Irish hotels have seen a drop in their valuation on pre-COVID values of between 20 to 30%. Now, we've done a deep dive into the industry, and we believe that over the next 18 months, starting in the second half of 2021, that there will be upwards of 100 hotels which will be discreetly coming to the market. Now, this will be driven by directors and owners of hotel businesses who will be in the background advised by their accountants and auditors and perhaps bankers to look at this course of action. We believe that three principal things are going to happen here. First of all, there will be a significant amount of retirements from the industry. Second of all, a lot of group or chain hotels will look to divest themselves of one or two assets. And thirdly, particularly where balance sheets are significantly underwater, there will be a number of properties which will be coming to market. And therein lies the opportunity, really, for our investors going forward. Now, you may be curious at this stage also to get an understanding of how we see the industry, the tourism industry and hospitality industries recovering over the next number of years. Now, as everything in our lives these days is dependent on vaccinations and vaccine rollouts, there is an assumption here that the Irish government meets its targets in terms of vaccination rollout in the Irish nation, and that has been outlined as hitting with one vaccine by the middle of summer 80% of the adult population in Ireland. And assuming that target is achieved, we believe the following will happen. In the second half of 2021, we believe that Irish hotels will achieve 50% of their 2019 revenue figures for that same period. In 2022, that level will increase to 70% of 2019 levels. In 2023, almost but not quite, will be getting back to 2019 levels. And in 2024, the recovery will be complete, with 2019 levels actually being surpassed in terms of revenue. This will lead to a recovery in terms of turnover, but also valuation of hotels. So just moving on then, I'd just like to talk a little bit about Leicester Hotels Hospitality Ireland, or if I may abbreviate, LHHI, and what we can offer our clients. So as Prashant has quite kindly said, I have 25 years experience in the industry. And over that 25 years, I've gained very good insights, knowledge, and contacts in the sector. And more recent years, perhaps importantly, I've been involved in a number of turnarounds and restarts of hotel businesses in Ireland. Our chairman, Mr. Simon Lester, is a serial entrepreneur who has owned and operated hotels both in the UK and Ireland for the last 20 years. If one looks at the services then we offer, obviously we're offering advisory services to our clients in terms of acquisition, but also a front door to back door management service, incorporating hotel operations, finance, sales and marketing, human resources, health and safety, and regulatory services. If you may wonder what sets us apart from other hotel management companies, at the core of what sets us apart is we have a much higher weighting for our management fees based on EBITDA. And as we all know, having a knowledge of business, EBITDA is the cash generation of the business and is the key metric on which hotels are valued. So that's really what sets us apart from others. If I can talk then about the type of hotels that we are looking at and looking currently and will be sourcing for our investor clients. As I've said, and a key important part here is that hotels will have dropped in value by 20 to 30%, and this is certainly what we're looking to do and bring forward. So anything we bring forward will be at 20 to 30% reduced off pre-COVID values. The hotels will typically be 4-star. They will be larger than 70 bedrooms. They will have a very good range of facilities, good quality bedrooms, extensive ground floor food and beverage operations. We will have a good range. They will have a good range of meeting events and banqueting facilities, and perhaps some leisure. We will be very much deal led, so we will look at opportunities throughout the 32 counties of Ireland. However, we do believe that a lot of the opportunities will come in the Midlands and east of the country. The deal size will typically be between 3 million euros and 10 million euros. We will look at hotel opportunities that are smaller than 70 bedrooms, but these will be either in Dublin city centre or there will be a development edge to them, like such a land. So we do have, just to give you an example or a sample of, I'd like to talk about one specific opportunity that we have at the moment, which is a 130 bedroom hotel, very well established business, 4-star property within 1 hour of Dublin. Pre-COVID would have been valued at between 11 and 12 million euros. And we are in a position, we believe, to secure that asset at between 8 and 9 million euros. In terms of returns, by 2023, we believe we will be delivering 10% return on capital, and between 2022 and 2027, we will deliver in excess of 60% return on capital on that property. So finally, perhaps I just outline what the investment process would be with between an investor and LHHI. So the key thing for us initially is to understand the investment profile of our investors. So that would be a detailed virtual call where we would get to understand the investment profile of the investor. What does that mean? That means that we would need to understand the amount of capital they want to employ, whether that's in terms of cash or whether they want to do a deal which is a mix of cash and debt. In addition to that, we would want to understand if they want to own the hotel outright, or if as part of a consortium. And also, as you would understand, we would need to get some comfort of the investor's financial capacity to be able to close out on a deal. Moving on from there, then we would troll the market and find a suitable investment opportunity for the investor, do some initial due diligence on the asset and the business, and bring it forward for consideration by the investor. At that stage also, we would enter into a pre-operating agreement, which would retain our services for 6 months, so that we can properly advise and stay involved in the process with the investor. Leading on from that, then we would do a detailed due diligence on the business, which in terms of its financial due diligence and asset due diligence, and that would lead to a 10-year business projections and 10-year business plan being done for the potential acquisition. Once the investor decides that they want to go forward, we would then play our part in the obviously the negotiation process, the legal due diligence, and leading to the final acquisition by signing of a contract for purchase. And at the same time, there would be an agreement between the entity that the investor is using and LHHI to provide 10-year management services at the hotel on behalf of the investor. We also will look at long-term 20-25-year leases, but initially those will be on the basis of a revenue type format. I think, thank you very much again, Damien and Prashant. I think that gives a very good overview of where Irish hospitality and Irish tourism is in at the moment, where the opportunities as we see them in LHHI for investors, for acquisition, the part that we can play in that acquisition process, and finally, how we ultimately will operate these hotels on the behalf of the investors. As I said at the outset, the PowerPoint is available if anybody would like a recap or to share it with colleagues and clients. And I'm certainly available for any questions that anybody may have. And I wish everybody a very enjoyable the rest of St. Patrick's Day. Thank you very much.